You better be listening to Sleazoids or I must break you.
I'm sending you to California for studies. We have 4 missing soldiers, Captain, and their bodies. We need a supportable explanation.
Captain John Boyd is about to discover
no one just ends up at Fort Spencer. We come for a reason. Yours being, well,
something he never imagined.
Mrkvička.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Sleazoids, the podcast where we go down the rabbit hole of 20th century genre fare from the most influential canon classics to the trashiest exploitation films we can get our hands on and invite you to tag along helping us create a canon of sleaze. Each week is a double feature grindhouse style where we discuss 2 films loosely related by subject, genre, actor, filmmaker, or franchise, and at the end of each episode along with our honorary Sleazoid, which you can become by subscribing on Patreon.
Next week, we're talking about possibly the most powerful mullet in cinema, taking down some Nazis, so join that sleaze.
That's right. We decide on all the official ratings and rankings for every film that we cover as well. Patreon subscribers also get an honor shout out and 2 bonus episodes every single month, which we are officially coming up on 8 entire years of bonus episodes. There's 200 plus at this point, as well as our bonus transmission series where we talk about new release genre films, which there's over 60 of, and soon to become the January trash one of the year that everyone highly anticipates. So if you haven't made the jump yet, patreon.com/sleazoids podcast, we would recommend doing that. And speaking of which, we had a bunch of people to give their shout outs this week. We had H sign up, we had Peach sign up, we had DV sign up, and we had Caden Brooks who signed up at the annual tier and is getting a monthly discounted rate by getting an entire year of the show in advance. And we also had Alice P sign up at the annual tier. So thanks so much to all of you folks. We appreciate that support and hope you're enjoying all those bonus episodes.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's the one plug for the week. The other plug, as always, is Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you were listening on either one of those platforms, and I can see the stats, I can see you right now listening on both those platforms, give us a good old rating and review over there. It helps us climb the ranks and find new listeners. And the last plug, as always, is merch. If you haven't gotten yours yet, there is a Sleazoids dad cap, as well as a blowout themed shirt designed by our good pal Brandon Lim of Black Belt Cinema that are both available at the link in the description, and we would highly recommend grabbing it. Help support the show and has some of our favorite movies and some of our favorite guests on the shirt. But yeah, that is it for the intro. Welcome back to another week. As always, I am your host, Josh Lewis, and joining me also, as always, is my co-host,
Jamie Miller. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome. I believe 2 weeks ago would have been the last time you folks over on the main feed would have heard from us, where we would have had special returning guest filmmaker Ben David Grabinski back on the show to talk about 2 universally beloved horror sequels. We talked Cat Shay's The Rage, Carrie 2 from 1999, as well as Joe Berlinger's Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2 from 2000. It was fun going into the weird nu metal era with Ben David.
Yeah, I really truly love anytime someone comes on and wants to fight for a couple 2-star classics. That's great. And Carrie 2, honestly, I did not like it the first time, but the second time, let me tell you, it actually worked for me. So apparently it requires
the lesson of the show
rewatch.
is if you just destroy your brain progressively over the course of years and keep trying it again and again, you eventually go, that's a good movie. That's a great movie. That's right. Honestly. So that was partially what happened 2 weeks ago with Ben David. So if you're on the main feed, go back and go check it out if you haven't heard it yet. But then last week over on the Patreon, we kind of followed his lead and we were like, let's talk about some other maligned horror sequels to a film that is just as much of a classic as Carrie and the Blair Witch Project. We talked about the Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise. We talked about the much memed and so bad it's good rabid, cult following for Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, which Jamie, despite my warnings, was somehow not prepared for the fact that 40 minute of that is
Still
a clip
not.
show.
Yep.
He was not pleased with that. He was not pleased with me.
I was in the trenches.
He was notably angry, I think, on podcast, and so
I'm
we
sorry
talked
if I was
about
mean.
that.
I'm sorry.
So we talked about that one, and then of course we paired it with 2 years later the follow-up, Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, Better Watch Out, directed by the late great Monty Hellman. And it was very bizarre to see what the Two-Lane Blacktop guy was cooking up when it came to weird like ESP Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah, and he has like a classical way of kind of delivering all the gore. He's still got slit throats and hacked up bodies and stuff, but he kind of he only shows the aftermath. He's a little more tasteful than what we're used to on the show. So that was interesting. But I want to see those sequels. Apparently they get better, I've heard. Number 4 is when it really gets good,
1 year we'll get to the Brian Usno one for sure, which I am excited to do. But until then, patreon.com/Sleazoids podcast. Last week's bonus episode for your guys' holiday listening was all about Silent Night, Deadly Night. But moving on to this week, we are once again joined by a very special returning guest. She is a self-styled genre film fanatic. She's a freelance film critic, editor, and archivist. That guest is Meg Shields. Meg, welcome.
What's up?
What's up?
We'll do with that. Come on now.
That's the vibe that Meg brings, and that's why she
Yes.
gets invited on every
Beautiful.
single year. Honestly, we got to the end of this year. We were trying to figure out who we were inviting on, and we were like, well, Meg hasn't come on, and everyone's been asking, where's Meg? It's a question
Everyone
that
is asking.
asked
When Meg's not on the pod,
anytime-
everyone asks, where's Meg?
Yeah, when Meg is not on screen, everyone should be asking, where's Meg? So Meg is on screen. She is on pod today. And normally I just let Meg go crazy. And I'm like, Meg, shoot us.
What do you mean normally?
What,
Oh, I see. Yes, you did put me in a box this time.
I gave you a theme, normally Meg just is like, I actually, to get, a little in the weeds about this, what normally happens is that Meg is in the middle of watching something and she texts me while she's watching it and she's like, have you guys heard of this?
My spot.
Have you guys ever done this? And we go, nope. And she's like, okay, save it for me. And then I'll get a text like another few weeks later and it's like the same thing. And then we've collected like 10 movies and dead episodes she's never done of just, she gets real excited in the middle of watching something.
One of these days you're gonna get a text from me. It's like, can you read those back to me? Can you remind me what the movies are that I'm saving?
Did you bring on Disclosure?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That was Meg's very first episode.
We bring that up so often.
Hell yeah.
We do.
Somehow that movie gets brought up, I swear to God, like once a month. It's kind of
Literally,
hilarious.
it is the movie that pops into my brain when Michael Crichton's name is said on the show.
Yeah.
So
Very, very good.
know.
I'm so glad. It's his greatest contribution to cinema, right?
It's amazing how often I think about that movie. After
Ben
you
David
brought it
literally
on.
brought it up last week
Yeah.
or 2 weeks ago.
Oh man. So funny.
So, yeah. But Meg, this week, because it was following up our Christmas episode, it was the last episode of the year. We're still feeling a little wintry here in Canada, so we were like, Meg, could you don't have to give us something holiday themed because we've already got that covered, but could you give us something with the theme of cold, of snow, of winter? And so what 2 films have you brought with you this week, and what else unites these movies but beyond the fact that they feature snow?
Okay, so we're doing Ravenous. Shame on both of you for not having done this already. I was simply shocked and appalled that you haven't covered it.
She was. I actually got a lot of anger. I don't know if they were angry, but they were
Chiding.
Concerned.
exclamation point heavy text messages when I said we hadn't done it yet. So
Yeah, well, I was like, is there a reason you haven't? Like, have you just assumed everyone has seen it? So
no
you're
one's
not-
brought it.
It's crazy.
I just assumed someone would bring it.
Yeah.
I think maybe we were all assuming that someone else would do it, and no, it was like a last hit.
I also
thing.
think the patrons almost voted for it with Jim Jarmusch's Dead Man a couple times, possibly. I think
that makes sense.
that memory seems to be in the back of my head
Okay, well,
somewhere.
my double bill's better. It's Ravenous.
Shots fired.
Meg said, "Fuck that guy." Fuck your listeners.
Yeah, they can fight me. I'm in there. Yeah, we're doing Ravenous and Wolf's Hole. Wolf's Hole, the incredibly easy title to say, by Věra Chytilová, who also did Daisies. And the connective tissue today is cabin fever / films that like actively are rebelling against the genre that they're in, / female-directed films, because we've got Antonia Bird for Ravenous, / films shot in the Czech Republic. Turns out both movies shot in the Czech Republic.
Yeah, I did not realize that about Ravenous until reading up on it this time.
Yeah,
because I totally
Mexico
bought that
and
was
the
a piece
Czech
of
Republic.
Americana.
Yeah, no, I totally thought they were like in the Sierras, but turns out no. Turns out on location in the Czech Republic, and all the studio stuff was shot in Prague, still the Czech Republic. And there's like a brief moment where they cross a river into Poland for like 2 seconds, but other than that, it's like that. It's like the Czech Republic and Mexico.
So no, this is a very good pairing. I'm very excited. Ravenous I've loved for a long time. Very excited to talk about it. First time I ever watched it, I was just completely blown away by the tone and by the music. And I've thought about the movie a lot ever since then. And Wolf's Hole I had not seen before, and I was kind of floored by what it actually was, because it was not at all what I thought it was going to be.
That was the intention, because I was like, even if they don't like it, there's no denying this film goes some places that are interesting. So I'm glad.
It's bizarre, and it's a lot like funnier than I anticipated.
They're also both.
It also
comedies.
has
like,
incredible snowsuit fashion that I can't wait to get into. It was when I picked wintry, snowy themed episode. These characters are dressed exactly as I envisioned them in Wolf's Hole.
Yeah, it's the like natural, like weatherproofing of wool and skins that you see in Ravenous is completely undone by whatever polyester hell is happening in Wolf's Hole. It's just like a lot of synthetics that are definitely not waterproof.
Yeah. But this is gonna be some politically oriented horror movies set in cabin fever mountain Czech locations. So I'm very excited to jump into this. Let's do it. Let's kick things off with Ravenous.
Eat to live. Don't live to eat. That was really sneaky.
He was licking me!
Ravenous.
Bon appetit.
All right, we are talking Ravenous, the 1999 horror western dark comedy, directed by Antonia Bird, written by Ted Griffin, and starring Guy Pearce and Robert Carlyle. And it follows a group of soldiers stationed at a remote military outpost in the 1800s who are sent into the wilderness to investigate strange reports of some sort of massacre and basically arrive at the horrific scene of what is a cannibalistic nightmare and eventually descend into essentially snowy mountain manifest destiny survivalist madness. This is our first time talking about British producer and director Antonia Jane Bird, who was a really successful stage theater and TV director in England prior to making the turn into directing movies, turning her success at the sort of Royal Court Theatre and BBC into these sort of socially and politically conscious dramas, including her debut feature Safe, starring Aidan Gillen and Robert Carlyle, focused on sort of homelessness in London, and another film called Priest with Linus Roach, Tom Wilkinson, and again Robert Carlyle as a gay left-wing priest reckoning with the sort of conservatism in his church. So her working relationship with Carlyle is the thing that sparked her to come on and direct this film. Because from what I understand, the script was written by Ted Griffin, who was just getting into the industry at the time when studios were still buying spec scripts from first-time writers. Shortly after this film, for example, like Warner bought a bunch of scripts from him. They brought Soderbergh's Ocean's 11. They brought what became Ridley Scott's Matchstick Men. He also went on to write the TV show The Shield. And from what I understand, Ravenous went through like 2 directors before it ended up with Bird, one of whom was fired, another of which was mutinied by the cast, apparently.
Hell yeah, I want that movie so bad.
Oh man!
Of a director.
Did you know that story, Meg?
Oh yeah, I did. I mean, Antonia got...
Tell us about that. I didn't find more about it.
I know as much as you do. Like I mean, like the pre-production of Ravenous is kind of like genre myth at this point, where it's just like everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And then Antonia Bird had, I think it was 2 days prep before she was on set in the Czech Republic. And as a result, like a lot of the people involved in the film were people like Carlyle, who she had a close relationship with, even like, is it Damon Albarn? I don't know how to say his last name, who co-wrote the score, had worked with her on a previous project. So that's part of why he's there. So it was this kind of like frantic, if I don't know you, we're about to know each other really well, and I'm going to get my buddies together, that fit the tone of the film, but also made it like kind of special for everyone. And also just like her being kind of elected democratically almost by the cast is very funny. Yeah.
I mean, it is cool that like one of the central actors just said, okay, look, this is going to shit, but everyone wants to make this movie. Here's someone who I think could substitute in quite quickly and would do, competent sort of professional work. And under the circumstances that she comes into this production, it is insane that you don't feel like this movie is a mess. I would say you feel that it's strange and you feel that it has offbeat rhythm to it. And I think some people at the time when this was a failure, they interpreted that as, possibly something they might have fixed if they had had more prep time. But at the same time, I watch it and I go, I don't know, it feels as part of a deliberate piece with what is, with the surreal nature of what these characters are going through in terms of merging this sort of, a Western horror hybrid that took the ideas of what is essentially, sort of manifest destiny and American colonialism and this sort of ugly cannibalistic form of greed and consumption, and was trying to make an incredibly dark satire out of that, those ideas.
The fact that the thesis and the tone and like what the movie is in like a marketing sense are so coherent is crazy. Like she, on the commentary track she does with Damon, they talk a lot about like just discovering things on set. Like almost all of the kind of like Christian iconography associated with Carlisle's character was like an on-set thing that they just decided. Or like they would, like the final fight scene, I know we're jumping the gun, they were like, what props haven't we used? And then they like had 2 days to build a fight scene around
got him with a pitchfork.
They were literally like they were kind of John Wooing it, where they were like, or even Jackie Channing it, where they were like, this is a prop centric fight. We have 3 props. Let's build this fight around these props. And she talks a lot in the commentary about there are things that she wishes that were in the film that people don't know about. Like there were entire storylines and thematic kind of side quests that don't get to be explored because she wanted it to be, she understood what kind of movie they were trying to make, or had to make a decision about what kind of movie it was going to be, like while they were making it. And yeah, it's just crazy. Like that kind of flexibility in a country where you don't speak the language of like most of the crew on the set, where they were shooting a lot of it outside, where they were constantly fighting with the weather. Like so much of it was shot out of sequence because there just wasn't snow some days, or there was an early spring or whatever. She is a literal saint, and Robert Carlyle has incredible instincts to be like, get her here.
And it does.
She could fix this.
And it does like result in some of the most, honestly, like some of the most beautiful cinematography I've seen, especially when they're, going through the woods, and there's a specific shot where Guy Pearce is looking over a cliff, and the camera kind of follows him as he does it. And then the camera like goes over the cliffside and shows you that this is, it's completely real. There's also a kind of a dangerous factor to it, just the way they look so close to the edge of it, even including the cameraman.
Shout out to Anthony B. Richmond. Previously talked about for Don't Look Now, Man Who Fell to Earth, Candyman. Guy obviously has incredible decision making when it comes to lighting, when it comes to framing, when it comes to the elegance of how he moves the camera. I do think that this even gets into like the natural landscape stuff is obviously incredible in this, but honestly, even the sort of like muddy candlelit fortress stuff looks really good as well. Even and when he gets into the handheld fighting stuff, it gets real grim.
I do agree with Bird though. Like, I think it was a decision made in pre-production to shoot on widescreen, like it was an old Western. And when you shove a widescreen camera into like a tiny set in Prague, it is kind of like, it does feel strange, and like not in a way that I find jarring, but like when you are looking for it, you're like, that is a little weird. Why do we have this widescreen camera in here? But yeah, also this film has, and this is a whole other can of worms, this film has been through so much like home video shenanigans that like not a lot of people saw it in widescreen until recently. So
yeah, it's true.
So like this is kind of a bugbear from the future in a privileged position. So we can ignore that.
Yeah, well, worth noting too, this is one of those movies that was saved by like home video release. Like, it was a movie that failed really, really horribly in theaters, and I think partially because they weren't really sure how to market it. They weren't really sure. I mean, I wouldn't be sure how to market it either. The tone of it is so strange to, convincingly tell people what it is and also say, come and watch it. And so they had a really difficult time, I think, with what the expectations were for this Western film with these big actors in it, and what they ended up getting, and how just kind of bleak and unpleasant and weird the entire experience is. But marketed at home, people watched this and it got a much better reputation from there. And honestly, in one of our few conversations I had with the director of the Empty Man, Mr. David Pryor, he brought up that he was the one who actually made the DVD for this.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring it up because Meg was here, and Meg also experienced that. But like, he told us basically that like this was a movie where he saw it and he said, I could sell that to people. I could figure out, what it is that people, would maybe expect to see. And so, that DVD that became extremely popular was partially his doing. And I mean, thank God that he did, because, this thing now has a pretty significant cult reputation. And the only thing it's missing is the 4K.
Yeah, I mean, they
Josh
were
is steaming because of that.
Well, and like even the soundtrack, which I'm sure we'll talk about, like finding a copy of the soundtrack was so hard for so long. Like, I think someone gave me a zip file over Twitter because they had the files. Like it was truly like a very under the table thing for a long time. And like, I don't know about you guys, but I heard about it through word of mouth, and that seems to be like how Ravenous has had legs for so long, is similarly minded people telling other similarly minded people that there's
people who are really into gorillas who just like look up what Damon Albarn has been up to, and they're like, he did the score for this movie called Ravenous.
On that note, it's so fucked up. And Damon, I hope you're listening. He has not done a film score properly. Like he's had songs featured and stuff, and he's done more like live theater adaptations, but he hasn't done a proper film score since Ravenous. And I'm like, my guy, he did so much work. He went to the Smithsonian and like took samples from recordings of old folk music. He like interviewed Appalachian folk artists. He interviewed a bunch of Indigenous and First Nations artists and got their permission to record vocals from them. Like, he really did the work and is a cinephile, and he should get back in the game because he's good at it. So
yeah, some of the use of like banjos and accordions in this movie in terms of what he turns it into and how it then gets a little bit more electronic as it goes on. Yeah. And the score was the first thing that was one of the most
in one part that I love that fucked up oboe. It's my favorite thing. I wish that was my alarm clock. I wish I could just wake up.
It's a huge part of the tonal changes and kind of the control of that too. Like, there was one part I remember marking down because I just found it so strange, but still it didn't take away any of the tension or the horror that was still implied in it. And it's when I think they're chasing the cannibal through the woods, and it's like when they discover that, he's actually killed everybody, and so they're chasing him. And instead of this like really tense score that you would think was going to happen, they actually put up like a kind of a silly, upbeat country western score with like a banjo and all that. And it feels,
it's the kind of song you hear when an old geezer is like chasing some chickens in the yard or something.
Exactly.
Because that's the perspective of the scene. Like Ives didn't have to bring them to the scene of the crime. Like he could have just ingratiated himself at the fort and picked them off, but he was like, that's not fun. I want to bring them to the scene of the crime, and then I want to play catch with them. Like he wanted to have a goofy little time. Like that's why there was so much pageantry about his discovery, and he gets to like monologue. Like he's just theatrical. And so I love that you're totally right, Jamie. Like it just totally shows its ass and is like, this is a goofy film. This is a goofy little cannibal. That's where we're at.
But all these characters are besides the cannibal himself, it feels, because he is having fun. He's hamming it up a little bit more than everybody else. But like Guy Pearce looks legitimately exhausted in this and just like.
Well, he did all his own stunts.
Down.
He did like 90% of his own stunts. He also, him, Antonia Bird, I think another member of the cast, and Damon, are all vegetarians. And so that's like also fun. Like Guy Pearce did eat or like put meat in his mouth and chew it for a lot of these scenes. So this man was like putting his full ass into this movie. So when he was like sick in
those moments, he was kind of feeling it for real.
Probably, yeah. I mean, he had a spit bucket, but like still.
Yeah. And there is like an irony too, to like, the irony is built in throughout the whole tone of the film and some of these characters and stuff. But there is like, I think the way you can get on board with some of the silliness is that he has kind of a cowardice to him, even though he's presented in one moment like he's getting honors, and in the very next he's getting kicked out to this fort because of his cowardice. So there's like this there's like contrast within his character that feels like he's fighting himself already before he even gets to the cannibal part.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much thematically happening in this film, but I do think a way to kind of ground yourself with Guy Pearce's character, whose name escapes me, the name of the character, is
Boyd.
Captain John Boyd.
Boyd, right, of course. Love our Boyds. He when he's in like the death cart during the war in Mexico, the rebellion, whatever, civil war, I'm not sure.
The Mexican-American War of 1847.
I have to imagine one party was more culpable than the other there.
Yes.
Thematically relevant, maybe. When he's like under the cart, just like playing dead, covered in his dead buddies, blood dripping into his mouth, winky winky, maybe significant. And he's being a coward, but then still chooses to get up and give it one more go. That's kind of where he starts from to where he ends the film. So he does make two very crucial decisions in the film. Obviously more, but the two most crucial were get out from the death pit and what happens at the end. But yeah, totally so much fun. Like even from the jump, like the Once Upon a Time in the West like style opening credits, and there's just like banjo playing after this harrowing opening sequence. Like you're just like, okay, like I kind of struggle to understand how people don't know what kind of movie they're watching, because I'm like, it tells you. It tells you right away.
I mean, even that intro where like you have the Nietzsche line of like those that fight monsters need not to become monsters, and then it goes eat me anonymous. Like that's clearly a joke.
They give you the tone right off the start.
Also
they do.
It was 48 degrees Celsius in Mexico while they were shooting both the scenes where they're eating meat and all of those fight scenes. Like oh
my god.
No, thank you.
That is the thing. The movie feels legitimately just cold and exhausting and dirty. It's really like it feels lived in. These forts you just would not want to be at all. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I do think that Pierce is a huge reason that, you know, this works for me. He's smack dab in the middle of his career, like sort of the peak of his career here, right between LA Confidential and Memento, which for a lot of people are, you know, two of his best performances, two of his best movies. This, I think, should be up there for everyone with that. This should be considered like a sort of a 3-tier run that he's got going.
Agreed.
But the opening of him, you know, essentially, you know, being, you know, giving this award for this heroic deed that he did of displaying cunning and honor while infiltrating the enemy ranks and securing victory.
You were so cunning when you played dead.
Yeah, and then giving us the flashes though of, giving us the military ceremony and then cutting back to what it is he actually went through and the sort of the disillusionment and the guilt that he obviously feels that, this entire project is a sham is I think the immediate impression that he gets. The entire American colonial project is people pinning awards on each other for saying they did something incredible, and the idea of sort of violence and strength and power as something that is like a deeply, ugly and kind of troubling thing that didn't happen. It didn't feel heroic to do any of these things, even if he technically did secure a base. Like, again, most of that scene is him watching all of his men get massacred around them while they scream like, "What are you doing, Lieutenant? Like, help us!"
Yeah, he just lays down. He's like, "I'm done."
He's like, it's tummy time for Guy Pearce.
Yeah. Gets covered in blood, has the blood dripping into his mouth. He uses this as a sort of a motivating factor to get up and
magically motivating factor
gun.
Even question.
Yes, but maybe my favorite detail of that entire thing is while he's traumatically recalling this, it's that crazy gross sound design of him watching and listening to all those American soldiers rip into their bloody steaks.
Speaking of sound design in that sequence, the sound of the guy's skull hitting the cart when Guy Pearce gets up is so good. If anyone wants to hear just like a great noise, it's so good.
Oh yeah, it's like, but also all the close-ups that he does of them rip it from their teeth, just ripping the meat.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminded me of I think I brought this up a ton of times. Anytime there's a gross eating scene, but it was Abel Ferreira's Driller Killer when he eats the pizza. It just reminds me of that any single time. But yeah, it has that kind of close-up gross effect. And even the chaos of the war is really cool because he does a lot of, or she does a lot of hard cuts, and then these
Jamie canceled.
Yeah, I corrected myself. They're very. It's almost shaky, but it feels just chaotic and disorienting. And the mix of those going back and forth between the flashback and present is really cool.
Yeah, no, the entire opening sets you up, including the credits where he's getting kind of progressively scruffier while the awesome sort of plucky banjo is kind of going crazy. And obviously he's being sent to this remote military base because the general does not buy this supposed act of heroism. He sees him for the coward that he was and banishes him.
Can't know. We have to send you to the Shadow Realm, aka the Sierra Mountains.
Yeah. He's it's like moving around all the priests.
Yeah.
Here you go, Guy Pearce, the coward. You're going to Fort Spencer in the cold, snowy mountains. Speaking of moving around, didn't want to just kind of set you up for that one, but yes, he serves under Colonel Hart, played by Jeffrey Jones of Beetlejuice and Deadwood and other fame that we will not address here, but go check out his Wikipedia page. And he is working there alongside a sort of skeleton crew of a bunch of sort of weirdo outcasts, the quote unquote over medicated Private Cleaves, played by Scream's David Arquette, going stoner chef mode in the film.
So good. I think it's also good. Apparently they had him for 8 days and they were like, this is 8 days of Arquette. So they just shot nonstop Arquette. And apparently he just was so creative. There's that part right before I think he gets killed, I can't remember, where he's just building a fucking statue out of bones for no reason. And apparently he was just he would do that. I should be building a fucking weird ass statue in the middle of the gorge. She was like, go for it. Knock yourself.
He was feeling it.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm deep. I'm going method.
Yeah, this is one of the great ensemble cast films.
It's crazy.
It's so good, and each of these characters should have their own little film. I want they all have such rich personalities. I love all my boys except for Jeffrey Jones, although I do think he's doing a good job here, unfortunately.
Yeah,
he is.
I'll be brave. I'll say it. He's doing a good job.
We'll let Meg say it. Meg can be the one to
it's
say
okay.
it.
So
that'll be the clip we choose for Instagram as well.
That's okay. I've done something cancelable. Jamie's done something cancelable, and now it's your turn, Josh.
Josh, your turn, Josh. Say something.
I got a big one. I'll save that. I'll save that.
Okay. Is it who you'd eat first? What?
Yeah, we're gonna do a ranking system of which fellas do you eat first.
Yes,
they're also
I've already
stringy.
made my list before you guys even brought that up. So perfect.
Oh, good.
But we've got Jeremy Davies as well as the religious private Toffler, obviously of Dogville and House That Jack Built fame here, who is their personal emissary for the Lord. He's the one saying grace for them at the table. We have Major Knox, played by Stephen Spinella, who's the fort drunk, who never met a bottle he didn't like, is how he's described. And also he's made the doctor because he was the guy who had some sort of vet training. But they were like, please don't get injured while you're here. You don't want to deal with that. And we've also got Neil McDonough, the great Neil McDonough as Private Reich from he's
the most Aryan-looking man of all time.
Truly,
it's true. Yeah, he is their
also the best single shot character intro of him just in a frozen river shirtless screaming. Where I'm just like, I know everything I gotta know about this guy. He's doing a cold plunge. He's ahead of the time.
It's true. He's awesome because he's the character who in a normal Western would probably be like the heroic man of action style soldier character who, when something goes wrong, he's the one who grabs a gun and immediately runs in there. And,
he's like
things
extremely
don't go super
competent.
well for him.
We see him being competent throughout the film. He's the only one with eye protection, I think, when they're up on the mountain. That's what I noticed.
Yep.
He's also the one that goes into the cave when they are inspecting the possible cannibalism.
Yeah, he's like the most courageous.
Yeah.
Like he's the non-coward of the soldier crew that they have. He's actually the one guy I don't know why he's there. Everyone else I'm like, yeah, these are weirdos. Yeah, they probably shouldn't be in the army.
And I can't remember if they do any implication of why he would be there, but that's a good point that he feels completely outside everyone else.
He screams in rivers a lot.
Yeah,
and
maybe
freaks
he's
the other guys out.
So. Maybe that's it. Yeah.
He's just a 2025 brofluencer stuck in the Sierras. He's made for LA. Yeah. He's so close to LA. He's gonna get there. We also do have Sheila Tozy as Martha, who is dating David Arquette's character. She's First Nations woman who Antonia Bird was one of the things she was like ride or die for. Like she would cut other things if it didn't fit the tone of the film or what kind of movie they were making. But she fought for Martha so hard, and her biggest, like at the time of the commentary track she recorded, they hadn't done the director's cut yet, and she fought so hard for the extended shot of Martha leaving the fort as like the last person with dignity. And I think Martha's just such a cool character that she is allowed to like have character development and like get to leave unscathed on her own terms. Not so lucky is Joseph Running Fox, who plays George, who's also, I think he just is the role of tracker / like gotta show these idiot white people around.
And he's like the
guy who gets the ominous monologue about the Wendigo to tell the white man all about you know what it is they're getting involved in. It's an important aspect of it because, I mean, as we get introduced to, I mean, who becomes the sort of central co-lead of the film, essentially with Guy Pearce, when they're basically operating outside of this, in this sort of rundown, torchlit fortress, and it's kind of serving clearly as a form of sort of frozen purgatory for all these just strange men who have been cast out here. And they obviously, during the winter season, the whole idea is they don't see very many passersby. They operate in more of a summer season. And so as we, get into the sort of winter season here, they have one guy who comes through, and it takes the form of the bearded and frostbitten near-death Scottish man named Calhoun, played by Robert Carlyle, Danny Boyle legend.
like he
great.
Literally looks like emaciated Jesus Christ. Also, apparently the shot where he shows his full ass was his first shot in the film, which I think is fun. It was like first day on set, he was like, I drop and trow, I'm doing it. Also, awesome. Somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but not really. I know that Carlisle likes to describe this film as a romance, and like I do.
He's right.
I do think he's being funny, but I also think he's right. I also think like if you wanted to intellectualize it, like, and not yowie it, like it. Thank you for laughing, Jamie. Like I do think the kind of like, the metaphor of like addiction and pusher and all that stuff. Like, I do think there is a romantic way of approaching that. And I think this film does it really
Pearce.
Well. Yeah. Well,
he doesn't want to kill Guy Pearce. He doesn't even want to eat Guy Pearce. He wants Guy Pearce to be his bro.
It has that like, vampiric thing where he's like, I can make you one of me. What if we took over
California together? Like,
yeah.
It's funny you should say that, Jamie. Like, I do think one thing that I think both makes Ravenous so special and why I think it was such a fucking flop is that I think it has both a very European sensibility to it. Like, I think these are Americans through the lens of like European genre. Like, they're much more familiar to me in a kind of like Italo-Western kind of sense. Also very funny to hear Antonia Bird be like, I'm European. And I'm like, not for long, baby. Brexit's around the corner. But I do think what's interesting is like with all this kind of blood and cannibalism, I think one of the things this film is trying to argue is that cannibalism is a distinctly like American and colonial American interpretation of old world vampirism, that like being a kind of like posh parasite is like something for the old world, but here like I consume like whole, like it's much more involved, direct, bloody, like butchery, like it's much more in your face. Like I think it's a fun kind of, I think cannibalism is an old world or a new world kind of response to vampirism being an old world kind of parasitic thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, and obviously they were inspired by specific cases, including the Donner Party and the Alfred Packer stuff
too, which like is European. But yeah, I think the way this film enmeshes colonialism and cannibalism with the Wendigo myth is like so good. I love it. One of the best subgenres really of colonial folks just eating shit is the best.
I also find, like, I don't know if how true this is, but it feels like with Dracula, for instance, it's it has more of like an isolation quality to the vampirism, whereas this is like, I mean, they're just trying to spread it. He has a monologue at a certain point about spreading it to the West and wanting it to become as massive as possible. So that does feel distinctly different for sure.
I also love the patience of the buildup of it, though, too. I love that when we first introduced to Robert Carlyle, he is a victim of this cannibal sort of Colonel Ives, as described, and he has this very long monologue about the fact that, you know, he had a guide sort of lead him on a shortcut through the mountains, got them lost in a trail and in a cave where they began to starve and sort of resort to sort of eating their oxen and their horses and their dogs and eventually their fellow man. Like, this is the story he tells is very, very similar to the Alfred Packer story, which I am remiss to mention I mostly know due to Trey Parker and Matt Stone's Cannibal the Musical, which you could probably pair with this movie after if you wanted to.
Very good movie.
It was literally the first time that I heard of Alfred Packer was watching that movie, and I was just like, that is crazy. I can't believe that's some real shit. South Park guys didn't make that guy up.
Finds many paths.
But I do like that Robert Carlyle, when he's describing, he's so tortured about it. And that line that he gets that I just find leaves such impact. When I stepped into that cave, the smell of meat cooking, I thanked the Lord. Just the incredible music as he's telling the story and the flames reflected in Jones's sort of glasses. And again, his story of, you know, being this sort of cowardly, passive onlooker as this colonel is going violently mad and eating all of these other people and asking for their help. It's something that, you know, resonates with the Guy Pearce character while he's listening to it. And these guys, as being the sort of the cowboy soldiers, men of action, they immediately get up and they go, we need to go to that cave and find those survivors. Yes, like bored. They're so bored.
And then, like, not only do they get new friend, like they are so excited for a new guy. Like they have no apprehension about what he could be up to. They're just like, new guy. and then when he's like, and I have a quest, they're like, oh my God.
Let's go.
A quest.
It also, I like the way he eases into the kind of, you know, the reveal of cannibalism. Like at first he's saying, you know, we had something to eat. There was no food. And then there's another part where he goes like, I ate sparingly, but others did not. And it was kind of like him trying to be like, I was the sensitive one in the whole thing, you know, don't worry. It's like,
he definitely downplays, like, look, I tasted it, but I did not enjoy it even a little bit, I swear.
Even though I thanked God and tears ran down my face when I smelt it.
It makes
there's some
the
doth
rewatch
protest
so good,
stuff
though.
going on.
Like when you rewatch it and you're just like, this is an Oscar-worthy performance. like
look at him go.
You're like, look at him go. Yeah, it's so good. And like, It also, Carlyle recorded that monologue in one take every time, and apparently there was like much to do about like forgetting to like cue up the reels correctly so that they wouldn't run out of film halfway through. Which tragic.
His switch is pretty incredible too because of the sincerity in this pain that he has and like telling the story and having to do such what he's acting like for him is
well,
such
because
a
it connects
horrendous
so
thing.
much with the Pierce character, who we've already seen his version of like being involved in a guilt-ridden massacre and feeling like he, you know, was cowardly and didn't do anything about it. And, you know, the fact that we're like, oh, it's happened to someone else again. And the fact that it turns out to be this staged bit where Calhoun has essentially become the Wendigo, a man who eats his enemy and consumes his strength and steals it from him, who has this insatiable hunger as it's described by the George character. And also through Calhoun, because I mean, one of my favorite moments is when Guy Pearce very sheepishly goes up to him. He's just like, so this is a guy who has also tasted man before, like me. And I'm going to ask him, did
Wonder
you
if
feel
there's any innuendo there, guys. Why is this a romance?
Did you feel any differently when you like tasted your fellow man? And he's like, how do you mention that? I did feel a little bit more virile.
I was getting jacked up, dude.
You know?
Yeah.
It is almost like Calhoun / Ives, as we later learn. Same man, different man. Who cares? He like, it's almost as if he has read Boyd's journal. Like it is such a tailor-made performance to get his hooks in Boyd. Like it's almost like from the jump, he's like, that's my boy. Like I'm gonna get him.
Yeah. There does feel like there's
that's not the guy I'm gonna lick in the middle of the night and freak out on like night one, which is one of the most baffling moments. Is just
again
Jeremy
just
Davies reacting to the fact.
He's just having fun.
Well, the vibes on the journey of the quest to the cave are so fucked immediately, just because Toffler falls and wounds himself like right away because these guys aren't ready for this kind of journey at all, and the fact that he wakes up in the middle of the night and he's just screaming, "He was licking me!" about Robert.
Next time my dog licks me in the middle of the night, that's going to be my time to shine. I'm going to go full Toffler.
Yeah, but then there's these also awesome like tribal drums and this like heavy bass guitar when they arrive at the cave, and Reich is the one who descends into it, discovering all the sort of slimy skeletal remains that corroborate Calhoun's story, with the exception of the count not adding up, because Calhoun says that there was like 6 people, and he's like, this doesn't really make sense. Which is so
funny because like that must have been manufactured, because like his entire performance was manufactured. So he's like, okay, they're gonna go in, they're gonna count all the bodies, and then they're gonna find out.
Well, at one moment,
he's such a little stinker.
At one moment, Reich actually puts like a knife to his throat, and then he's like, "Okay, well, if you don't trust me, you can just tie me up. It's okay. Like I'm completely okay with you tying me up because I'm safe, and there's nothing that you need to worry about." And this is right before they get to the cave and the reveal. So he is really playing into it. It is fun to rewatch. Like this was the second time I've watched the film, I think, and so just. Knowing the reveal right away and seeing that character performance and change is awesome. And also just the horror elements when they get into the cave and they see like the stripped skeletons and there's still like some flesh kind of on it because he's gotten as much as he can, but you can only be so clean, I guess, in a cave and a knife. But it's
the slow wide-eyed realization, I think, of McDonough's character as it cuts back outside the cave, and just the tension of like us piecing it together with those characters as he's already stabbing like Jeffrey Jones in the gut and then shooting George off the cliffside with his gun, and revealing himself to Toffler in that hilariously dark fashion where he's like running out of ammo to shoot him. He's like, that's so annoying. And then he tells him to run, and that's when they kick in that like chicken chasing hoedown that they basically do. Yeah,
it's wild. He also does this like he kind of becomes frantic a little bit before they start shooting and really knowing what's going on. Yeah, he's kind of excited, but he's almost it's in this way that he can't he can't quite concentrate. He's like not knowing exactly where he hid the knife, and he starts digging like a dog and shit.
Honestly, very relatable to be like, I hid a knife, I don't remember where I hid it.
It's like, where is it? It's around here somewhere. Yeah, it's kind of funny, and it does make me, just that change is kind of the first physical change you see before he becomes the full cannibal Ives character. I loved it. I thought it's got the perfect blend again of like the kind of silly tone with the black comedy, but then he's still threatening. He always feels still threatening.
Yeah.
is
Well,
cool.
and it like whiplashes between the two, because you'll have Reich who comes out of the cave immediately, like Western cowboy hero, grabbing the gun, making sure that Boyd is ready, and they're like, we're gonna chase this guy down and we're gonna find him, and immediately takes a throwing knife to the chest and falls off that really, really high cliff. And Boyd gets to sort of unload his rifle into the chest of Ives, and that's maybe the first moment of the sort of supernatural component hitting, where it's like, oh, he actually does have like this Wendigo strength, this almost like healing power, where he eats that bullet, gets right back up, and sort of reanimated slasher villain style, and comes at him. And Guy Pearce's decision to immediately be like, well, I'm not going to win this fight, he's clearly doing something, to leap off the cliffside alongside Reich.
Superpower to be like, I'm not gonna fight you, I'm going off the cliff, and like
it's the bravest act of cowardice that you could ever see, because he's just like, I'm gonna launch myself.
To this day, I don't know how they shot that, because that was a real cliff with a real overhang, and I still have no fucking idea how they shot it.
Well, he just did it. They just had all those cameras down there, and he rolled for like 5 minutes straight.
Guy Pearce.
Also, fun fact about the pit that he winds up in, that's just in a car park in Prague. They were just in there for 3 days, like just getting cozy. Wild. Yeah, there's a lot of movie magic in this sequence. Like the cave entrance isn't a cave; it's just like it just runs into a wall, and the actual cave that they're in is like a couple kilometers outside of Prague. Like,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I love
it's so interesting.
The reveals of like when he kills all the guys, and they start to do almost like discovery of bodies, like it's Michael Myers or something. One of them, I think Toffler, Guy Pearce goes around a corner and he's just like disemboweled somewhere, and then he kind of
he's been munching.
Exactly.
Me when I can't open the bag of chips, right? And I'm just like, God damn it.
It's like it is ripped open. I'll say that. He's just not being
like
as precise as he was with Jones.
No.
Yeah, I'm surprised Jamie hasn't mentioned the fact that fall that Guy Pearce makes is literally the exact same fall from Hot Rod.
He goes on.
It goes on for so long.
Yeah,
it is like it's a crazy stunt. I don't know who did it, but it's 10 different shots of him going through trees and hitting rocks.
I think it is Guy Pearce. Like he did 90% of his stunts on this film. I want to know who did the stunt direction.
I just assumed that was the 10%, to be honest, because I'm like, it looks so dangerous.
It's insane.
We'll have to ask Guy next time we see him on the streets of Tiff and be like, what didn't you do?
And the added ugliness of when he lands down there, the fact that like Reich like still isn't dead, and Reich is so pissed off at him because like he's like, you fucking coward, like you didn't help me take him down, like you just let me get a throwing knife to the chest. And he's just like, sorry man, I'm gonna and so he like strangles him and then cuts a little piece out of him and eats him to survive through the night. I was like,
after setting his leg, does he do that after he's had a bite? I can't remember.
I think he sets his leg first. I think you're right too. Yeah, it's
so good. One thing I love about Antonia Bird, like she really tried not to compromise on how gory isn't the right word. I would say how honest like the violence is.
Yeah.
Like she had
to make over the top or overdone or overshown. It's just kind of,
like it's still honest. Like she had to censor some like neck cutting. Like I think when Jeffrey Jones' character gets his neck slit, like they had to not show it. Otherwise they would have gotten an X rating in America, which they laugh about it on the commentary track because they're like, oh no, then it would have only been a cult hit, which it is right now. But yeah, like
all that theatrical box office we sacrificed.
Yeah, like they literally ran out of fake blood by the time they got to the final fight. Like she definitely like went for it in that respect, and I really love that for her.
Well, yeah, they do these. I can't remember if I mentioned it already, but when they're doing the story about the cannibalism, they do these really quick flashes to the deaths themselves of like when they started murdering people for the food, and it's just like 2-second clips of guys getting like a pickaxe in their forehead or something like that, and it's really blunt and violent. But then she kind of pulls away very quickly, but it's really effective.
It's never gratuitous, but it is honest. Like, I think she's very committed to not sanitizing that type of violence, which I love, but it does mean
she's like, look, we get the 2-minute shot of him going down the mountain. It's fun. It's a Hollywood action moment. When he hits the ground, it's like, no, he needs to have like a 5-minute scene of him like, redressing his setting his leg, his bones are sticking out, and he has to strangle his friend to death, and like all these like horrible things that make it again a very ugly, unheroic sequence, despite the fact that 2 guys charged in to like stop a killer.
Yeah, makes your movie hard to market, but we appreciate it down the line.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And I just love the mood. I love when he's treating his wounds and it's blended into the, some of the more orchestral sounds that hit, and sounds of Ives maniacally laughing and dragging a corpse into the cave, and the shots of the moon and the wolves
that
howling.
Whole segment, the music is so classic Dracula. Like it is just like so universal horror. Like that whole kind of sweeping orchestral where I'm like, so wild that like I don't know if that was a Michael Nyman contribution or not, but much like this film tonally,
it kind of sounds like it, because obviously
multitudes.
Well, because Nyman is the other composer who's not the guy from Blur and Gorillaz here. He's the guy who scored Peter Greenaway's Cook, Thief, Wife, and her lover.
Yeah, begrudgingly Candyman, right? That was Philip Glass. My bad. I'm mixing.
That was Glass, yeah. Well, but Neiman's other big one that I think he won the Oscar for was The Piano for Jane Campion, and so he has a much more minimalist, classical sense of composition, and it does sound more like one of his pieces when it does that. And then it goes right back into the weirder one when he actually is revived, or he feels healed by the fact that he ate his friend. And there's honestly a weird, like, beautiful and hopeful kind of like electronic sound that kind of comes in as he's like walking through the snowy mountains alone, making his way back to the fort, where he then screams about Wendigos, and he has no bodies to speak of because they were all eaten, and none of the soldiers believe his supernatural cannibal horror story. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
The general who sucks, who like banished Guy Pearce originally, is like, why do you keep bad mouthing like this person? And then they bring in who they're now calling Colonel Ives, who is our good friend Robert Carlyle, and Guy Pearce is like, I'm so big brained, show me your arm that I know is wounded. And then Carl makes a fucking meal out of being like, oh, a striptease, huh?
Yes, he does. Yeah. But
one shoulder, and then they're like, hey, we need to see that other shoulder.
If there's any drag kings out there that want a routine, this is free. Take it.
Yeah. You saying making it a meal is the perfect way to put it, because I could not believe just how long the shot was of him taking off every layer.
It's accurate.
Every single layer of his uniform, and this slutty shoulder. Oh my god! He even almost looks like
Carlisle in the scene, though.
So much fun. It's the best.
It's the first scene where he does get to go a little diva with how good he looks, though, because he's got the well-groomed mustache. He's a lot more dressed up.
Well, doesn't he also outrank Guy Pearce's character? Or am I wrong?
Yes.
Where he's just like, I'm also your boss.
Yeah, and because they just had that interaction together in the woods where both of them were looking pretty haggard, and now you still have Guy Pearce looking pretty awful, and then him just like pristine. He's in his position again. He has the power. He's still rejuvenating from all the cannibalism.
But the romance vibes are definitely hitting like crazy with Carlisle showing up and being like,
I know.
We have a secret that none of these other guys are sharing, and I'm going to do a little, routine about it. It's hilarious.
It does honestly look like he's about to like turn his back to the camera, look over his shoulder, and then reveal it. You know what I mean? It's that close. It's like a Titanic moment almost.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, and it's what this whole section of the movie kind of becomes, is because obviously, Guy Pearce is functionally, the boy who cried wolf. No one is listening to anything he has to say about the fact that this guy, is a cannibal who has Wendigo healing powers, who ate all of his, fellow soldiers. And now you're putting him as the interim colonel in charge of this place. That's fucking crazy. And at the same time, Pearce is going through his own struggles of like having visions of gutting and eating like David Arquette, because some of these, he's starting to sense some of the Wendigo desires that he has been infected with in the sort of vampiric, nature of what it is that Ives has passed on to him in some capacity.
Yeah, like Guy Pearce becomes the ultimate addict in Act 2, and Carlisle becomes the ultimate pusher of just like, come on. Like
he's like, look, man, I had tuberculosis. I don't have tuberculosis anymore, and all I had to do was eat a guy.
Yeah, a small price to pay.
It is pretty awesome when he's just like, you've tasted it and felt its power. Like, that's just, it's awesome.
And he's like, because it's wrong. he's like, there's no time for morality here. He's trying to tempt him.
It's honestly very Interview with a Vampire coded, of just like one diva, one extremely bratty, uncompliant. Yes, like wife. I don't know. How are the boys doing dynamics these days?
Yeah.
But Ives also ends up, leaving a whole bunch of sort of bodies piling around the fort at a certain point. He has, horses, like David Arquette's character is found dead at one point, and Boyd is getting chained and sort of framed for these murders because they think he's the only guy who seems like an insane man screaming and ranting about murder and cannibalism. And Ives end up killing Knox with his own sword so that he can make a contribution to his stew, is how he describes it. Yeah. I love that he says that to him and then proceeds to kill him and then put him into his stew. And it is just, he's so
baby.
Flamboyant.
It's the best.
It is, the showmanship. It's crazy. And he also reveals that the bodies piling up while he appeared to sort of not be doing any of the killing were actually Colonel Hart, who he fed flesh of his own men to and got him healed and addicted to cannibalism as well. And, ends up sort of trying to recruit him as part of this cannibal crew. The idea is that they'll take over the fort, they'll kill and eat various passersby, but not all of them because they're not monsters.
Yeah.
And the way that I love the way that Carlisle describes it, as he literally just looks over into the mountains and he goes, manifest destiny.
And he like goes like
westward expansion, themes. It's beautiful. What a thing,
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what impresses me a lot about this movie. It's an incredibly unsubtle satire about the idea of sort of American civilization built on this like literally barbaric and survivalist amount of greed. Like these characters, especially the Carlisle character, is pitching you, seducing you into the idea of, isn't it awesome to accumulate power and accumulate strength through what is as overtly immoral and insatiable consumption as has probably ever been depicted on screen.
Which
in terms
what
of,
makes it so American. Like I don't think a vampire would do that. A vampire would be like more tortured and secretive and whatever. And Robert Carlyle's like, I want to eat people. I want people to know I eat people. I'm going to do it so hard. Come into business with me.
I want to be president.
And also this is how we're going to spread it. And here's how we're going to get followers. And here's how we're going to take over land. And, like he is pitching him on.
Expansionistic. They're always isolationists. Like, I think cannibalism is like more the merrier. Like, come on.
He's literally pitching him that the American project is the same as the cannibal project. That that there is it's a really, really cool moment to be like, maybe Alfred Packer for president. I don't know. Let's see what could happen.
What's the worst that could happen?
Waste not, want not, as Ben Franklin said, as Jeffrey Jones said. Ben Franklin said.
They quote Ben Franklin as he serves him these cannibals.
Yeah, the plate of meat.
Speaking of Jeffrey Jones, I think not Jeffrey Jones, his character. I think a really cool character moment for him is like at the beginning, he's like struggling to crack his walnuts, and then when he comes back and he's Wendigoed, he like can just like crush them like they're nothing, and I think that's just so fun. I just like it's so cute. I just think it's like a cute little character moment, and I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Also, the setup here when they mentioned that the general is coming, the only reason I'm mentioning it is because I love that simple setup to one of the final shots in the film that we'll get to. But it's great.
Oh, and while we are talking about the general, I can't remember his last name, but in the script, at least his last name is the same as like the main drag in WeHo, like in West Hollywood.
General Slauson,
yeah, so
played by John Spencer.
That's like a huge fucking street in West Hollywood. And Antonia Bird's like headcanon, as she relays it, is that like this guy, like this general, like really wanted like people to go to California, like that he had a vested interest in like getting people to California because he owned land there. That's like one of the things that wound up on the cutting room floor, which I'm like, fair enough, that should be on the cutting room floor, but that's fun. Like,
yeah, the simplicity of what they do with his character at the end is at least fun, but
yeah.
Well, what I like about that is that the general comes back, and it's one of the few moments you could argue that, you know, the Guy Pearce character Boyd here has his moment of courage where he goes, oh, he is going to spread this to the general and it is going to spread even further. Yeah. So I need to be the one to stop this thing because, I mean, if there's anything sort of Dracula or sort of vampiric here, it is the fact that he feels guilty about this entire process, and he kind of convinces Hart to feel guilty about it as well. And Hart is the one who sort of frees him in order to kill both him and Ives, and sort of it's the idea of sort of ending this sort of cursed lifestyle that they have inherited. They don't want to be involved in this anymore, and you know, Jeffrey Jones gets a big you have to kill to live, and you know, ends up being like, actually just end it for me, man. I don't want to have to keep thinking as the general comes in, thinking like how Carlisle's thinking, the scheming, that little line he gets where he's like, breakfast, lunch, reinforcements, all in one.
It's also a very classic horror throat slit with like a huge blood geyser on a window and everything like that. Which
someone watched the
and
director's
Carlisle's kind
cut.
of impressed by it.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Oh, is that a director's cut thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. Do they tame it down in the theatrical? Is that what?
Are you talking about the throat cut for Jeffrey Jones's character?
Yeah, because it like sprays all over the window.
So I believe that's director's cut.
Okay.
I don't think they in the theatrical. I don't think they show it. Or it got like
okay. Well, because I love that moment because specifically of Carlisle's acting and reaction to it when he comes up to it, because it's a moment where you'd think normally, traditionally, you would just slit his throat. He would and Guy Pearce, it would be immediately into the tense of scene of him sneaking around and being like, I'm coming after Carlisle now. But the fact that Carlisle sees him do it right away, and he's a little bit like, okay, not bad. You know,
pretty wild boy.
You know, he's you know, I could still convert him a little bit, which he tries to do throughout a sort of climactic quasi sword fight sequence that just turns into a really messy scuffle that, as Meg already highlighted, goes, how many different things can we use? Have we used a pitchfork yet? Has anyone grabbed the butcher knife and hacked someone else's arm yet? What about smashing a face in with a log?
Real butcher knife. That wasn't a stunt knife. Like the butcher, apparently the cleaver was like sharp as shit and real. Like,
holy
crazy.
Hell. They're just going after it. Guy Pearce really wanted to do his own stunts. That's insane.
I mean, I respect.
I love it. Absolutely. Just it is crazy for that to happen.
They get to end the film in an embrace in a bear trap. The most romantic way to embrace someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which also, I don't think I've ever seen a bear trap that massive too. I always thought that they were mostly made for feet.
I don't think it's a historically accurate bear trap. I don't know that. My trapper knowledge is not up to date, but I suspect
r/bear trap is going to listen to this episode and be like, these fucking idiots.
Everyone knows the Ravenous is accurate.
It's the only accurate bear trap.
Those small ones, those are cartoonish bullshit. Yep. The passion.
Yeah.
But no, it is,
I mean, I love that shot. I love the build up to that moment, like all those steady cam shots around the fort while that slow, like electronic guitar chug hits and the ritualistic chanting is coming in, and the really both like ugly and handheld, but also homoerotic rolling on the ground fight that they're having throughout that entire thing, and Carlisle saying to him when he drops them both into the bear trap in like a literal bear hug mutual destruction moment, going, that was really sneaky. He's like still flirting with them.
And I love his line where he goes, if you die, I'm definitely gonna eat you. If you die, what are you gonna do?
And if I die, you could survive this by eating me, so bon appetit.
I just love the I'm definitely gonna eat you, just looking deep into his eyes, embraced in a bear trap.
Should have given him a little kiss. That would have really tied it all together.
On the nose, just a little
yeah. It does feel like if the ending of the thing was those two guys like started making out at the end. That's what this ending is.
They might as well have. What they do is far more romantic anyway, so it works out.
Gonna stare into each other's eyes.
What's better than this? Guys eating dudes.
That's right.
This is Romeo and Juliet, baby.
Meg was saving it the whole time.
No,
She was like, I got guys eating dudes in my back pocket.
I'm not that well prepared. Foolish of you to think I prepare anything I say in advance.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, all of Boyd's measures and all of his courageous action to end the Wendigo curse is not enough, because the general shows up and literally he shows up to the scene of a gruesome murder. And the first thing he does is, man, that stew smells real nice right about now.
Yeah.
It was a long journey here. It was cold. That's a hot stew over that fire. And he just goes, mmm. And he literally tastes the cannibal stew.
And like does like a yummy.
Yeah. Not bad. It's great.
And then Martha gets to run away into the sunset. God bless her. She gets to retain her dignity and leave the boys to keep boying.
She gave him a big foreshadowing moment too, like a few scenes earlier, where she basically goes, "You have to die to kill this guy."
Yeah.
Her small moments are really significant.
You guys have a really strong connection that just needs to be addressed before.
You're in love with each other.
Have a kiss and then die.
Just
get it over with.
Just tell each other how you feel, for God's sake. These kids, I hope they figure it out one day.
Those crazy kids. Anyway, bye.
Yeah. But amazing movie. If we're pivoting towards reductive rating around, this is a very strong 4 for me, honestly. Maybe even the Jamie 4. I love the idea of inherently of a sort of a manifest destiny, sort of like Wendigo myth, cannibal horror Western, and for the movie to be as sort of bleak and bloody and entertaining and deliver on the genre level I think you hope out of this movie, while at the same time just being layered in with so much, like all of the offbeat rhythm and tone and pace, and obviously the incredible score that's both Damon Albarn and Michael Nyman, two guys who, from what I understand, now hate each other, and
as was prophesized. I love it.
And like don't respect the other's contribution that they each made. They feel like, I think each one thinks the other guy ruined the movie in some capacity. But it's a really, really incredible score that helps with all of the lyrical landscape photography stuff that Anthony B. Richmond is doing, and contributes to that kind of existential feeling the movie has of these characters are wandering. It does remind me a lot of, our patrons tried to vote for Jim Jarmusch's Dead Man for a reason. So it doesn't have Neil Young on it, but I was thinking of just the lyrical existential quality of this, but what that doesn't quite have is the same level of bleak, unsubtle, absurdist satire that's running through this about the idea of American exceptionalism and this idea of America literally consuming and eating and, you know, insatiably and immorally pursuing strength and power and over each other, and using Alfred Packer symbolically as like the cowboy soldier vampire. And it's such a cool idea by Griffin. And I think Bird coming in with only a couple days to do this and just trusting that Carlisle knew that she could do it, and that Carlisle and Pierce clearly were feeling so much through the homoerotic charge of arguing and cooking and eating each other and sword fighting each other. They're just, I don't know. Pierce, one of my favorite performances by him. He's so good at being an anxious, guilt-ridden coward, and Carlisle as slimy and sadistic of a cannibal character who is enjoying it and seducing you and pitching you on his philosophy and lifestyle while also disemboweling people and turning them into stew. It's just like, what a movie. I love it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think this is awesome. I think the tonal control of this thing is pretty unbelievable. It feels like it has camp, but that never undercuts the brutality or horror of it all as well. I think that like Guy Pearce is amazing. I love his kind of exhausted performance, but Robert Carlyle is just unbelievable of doing that switch up from kind of the more serious warning of, you know, this cannibal nightmare that's coming, and then when he does the switch, it's actually more frantic and chaotic and kind of even silly at times, but again, nothing that undercuts it. I think it's really amazing. And Bird, just again, the level of control that she has is crazy. This does seem like, I guess, a singular film for her, like the other stuff that we were talking about earlier, like Priest. And I'm not sure if maybe Safe has a little bit of this tone too, but this, I guess it makes sense because of how she came about directing this movie. But I just think the level of control is unbelievable. She's doing so many different things. And yeah, even the use of the score, some of it being really serious in its tone and working and balancing all of that. But then you have the like banjo sequence when he starts to chase them and the cannibal stuff is revealed. Just incredible stuff. So yeah, 4 out of 5 for me.
I'm going to say 4.5. I'm going to be bold. Also, thank you for saying out of 5, Jamie, because I once again forgot what the metric was.
No worries.
Meg has been on this show so many times. She's on the shirt and she doesn't.
Baby. But is it a bit if I genuinely can't remember? No, I don't know. Ravenous, for all its faults, and like there are some, like I understand why this wasn't a commercial success. I just think it's the pinnacle of one of my favorite type of films, which is Westerns that dunk on both American exceptionalism and colonial expansionism. Like, I just think that is the right way to make a Western, is to kind of like use it as a dunk fest opportunity. And I think like, I think there's lots of ways to like botch using First Nations myth. And I think this is one of the few films that like does a pretty good job, because the joke is always at the expense of white people, like utilitizing and like corrupting like forces that they don't quite understand to like use them for their own gain. I also think this is a great film in terms of just like women ruling at making movies about boys. like this and Mikey and Nikki for me are in the same zone, where I'm just like, so funny that the girls simply are very good at doing portraits of the boys boying. Yeah, I don't know.
They're observant. They're watching the boys like drink in the corner and they're taking notes. You know, we got to be careful about this.
Yeah, we got to be careful, boys.
I see how they interact with each other.
I don't know. It's like, it's a great film about how America's built on a dog eat dog mentality and how funny and stomach churning that is. And I love how chaotic the score is. I love the ensemble cast, even though Jeffrey Jones is there. I can overlook it. He's like covered in blood for most of it, and you're like, who is that?
Yeah, he gets stabbed pretty brutally at one point, and is just kind of out of the movie.
Also, you get to see him die like multiple times, so that's fun. Yeah, I don't know. Just like that, it also moves. Like it's. I don't know. It's like a yearly watch for me. I encourage everyone to throw it on for the festive season.
For those
Get the family nights around the fireplace.
Literally me, though, during COVID. I was like, guys, I need to show you this movie. Yeah, I don't know. It's a great one. It's like one of the all-timers. It's the best.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Hell yeah. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for Ravenous. But stick around. We're going to be right back, and we're going to be talking about one hell of a weird one. We're going to be talking about Wolf's Hole.
And now there's only one thing I know. Where is my man? Down
All right, we are back, and we are talking Wolf's Hole, the 1987 horror and, spoiler alert, I guess, sci-fi film, written and directed by, what is this? Věra Chytilova? Is that how you say it?
I think it's Věra, but I also...
Oh, Věra.
I'm not Czech. I don't know. But yeah, I think it's...
Věra.
Chytilova. I don't know.
Chytilova.
Chytilova. Sure, why not? We will get Czech names right at some point. But it is co-written by Daniela Fischerova and starring Miroslav Machechik. We will get into him. He is it stars him as father. The head of a skiing
says daddy
camp.
on my Wikipedia.
I know.
You can call him daddy too. It wasn't what it said in my translation, but I mean, hey, it's a movie called Daddy. No, it's called Wolf's Hole, and it stars a daddy. So what are you gonna? I don't know. That's how we're gonna start this one.
Guys, it's a very serious film.
It's a very serious film. And it essentially follows what is 11 teenagers who are sent to an isolated sort of winter resort for sort of a skiing camp, retreat, workshop type thing, where the instructors ominously inform them there's only supposed to be 10 of them. And things kind of descend into creepy, suggestively, possibly like teen horror, slasher, 80s movie kind of directions, while never actually getting there for deliberate sort of, I guess, political messaging reasoning that we will get into. But this is our first time talking about the Czech avant-garde filmmaker Věra Chytilova, who was a foundational part of the Czech New Wave, including directors we've spoken about like Milos Forman and Jan Nemec and Yuri Hertz. Longtime listeners of the show might recall our episode with Perry on The Cremator from 1969.
Cremator goes so hard. It's so good.
Yeah. It's
amazing.
so good. And we talked
Did
about
that
on the
guy
Cremator
also
that,
direct for Vampire? Hold on, give me 1 second.
Vampire?
There's
No,
another
that would've
Czech
been-
New Wave film where it's Car that is a vampire. I need to check this really fast.
Oh, maybe he did.
Isn't Vampire? What's Vampire from? Like the 30s?
Yeah,
or 40s?
okay. He did direct Ferrat Vampire. I'm not crazy. Ferrat Vampire is an incredible
Okay.
Czech New Wave film that supposes what if race car also runs on blood? And it's so good.
I'm going to have to check that out. I actually watched another one of his movies recently because he did the remake of Jean Cocteau's Beauty and the Beast from 1978. And it was him going sort of like gothic romance fairy tale mode. And but in the style that's kind of like more like Herzog Nosferatu. Like it's kind of like
Wait,
that
is
muddy,
this-
more naturalistic kind of look.
Are we talking about his Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah, his
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beast, which I think is incredible because it's what if Beauty and the Beast, but the guy was like a bird and he looked like he was
Yeah,
from
and
Lloyd
also-
Kaufman's Poultrygeist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also did like Naruto ran through his fucking mansion. Like I
it's
had
awesome.
an open heart for that movie. I couldn't do it. I'm sorry.
No, even though there was a little goblin chandelier guy
Yeah, I really
Everyone's
don't
and a
got
bunch
their
of organ
limits.
music. Wow. Okay. Well, Yuri Hertz.
We found
we'll
mine.
say
It's
we can all
Naruto
agree
running.
we can all agree the Cremator
It's
is
him
an
going
amazing.
like this.
And it was our first time talking about the Czech New Wave as well, and its sort of contrast to the French New Wave, where it was sort of equally political, but it was much more
Cool,
and
good,
equally
fun.
experimental too. Well, it was just more in this like surreal and absurdist direction rather than necessarily a
Yeah,
sort of
like I
neorealist
said,
direction
cool,
of other
good,
European
fun.
movements. Exactly. Well, and Vera in particular is a notable figure in the movement due to being, one of the first women to study directing at the Academy of Performing Arts in Prague, and for being banned for much of her career in her home country, especially due to the 1966 film Daisies that Meg, you already highlighted. Yeah,
and she also just as I understand it, was I'm not leaving, kind of pulled a Cronenberg and being I should be allowed to make movies in my country. Fuck you. I'm not going anywhere.
Hell yeah.
Well, and it was funny, too, because what I could look up about Daisies and what upset them so much about Daisies was, obviously some of the political commentary stuff about how it was, surrealist and anarchist and anti-corruption and decadence and consumerism and went in this very satirical direction. But also it just seemed like they were upset literally about the food horror in the movie. They were like, these two spoiled teenage girls waste food in the movie. So therefore, this is bad politics for the country or something.
Did they have more driller killer close-ups and ravenous meat eating and all that? Or is it just the fact that they're throwing food around?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, she does the same thing here. There's a giant handheld one-er food fight sequence in this, and you could just, the Czech government was like, this fucking...
She did it again.
She can't keep getting away with this.
This was what was defining provocative surrealist movie making in yes, in the Czech, throughout the Czech government, and so she was consistently fighting off some form of controversy or censorship. And this comes out 2 decades after Daisies, and which on its surface I couldn't find a whole lot honestly online about this movie. I was trying to figure out if she had seen some of these 80s American slasher movies and was trying to reference them a little bit in terms of how she builds
there's
out.
There's not a lot of information about this film, which is unfortunate, but an interesting kind of contextual thing just in terms of Czech political history before we get lost in the aliens who fuck snow sauce. is that
I do want to get to that fairly quickly.
But
that's all I want to talk about.
Yeah, I know, same. The Velvet Revolution in the Czech Republic, which was a non-violent, mostly student protest-led revolt that happened in the Czech Republic, where there was a transition of power away from the communist government that had been in power for 40 years to a democracy. That happened two years after this film came out. So I think that there being something in the ether about specifically young people rejecting authoritarianism in the Czech Republic at this time was a live wire. So as much as there are silly things in this movie, I do think she was once again being I will not go quietly. She very much was in the thick of it, which is so cool.
Oh yeah, this is as equally unsubtle as Ravenous in terms of some of the things that it's saying, especially when you get to the very end of this movie.
Film. I will be a dead man before I bring you a subtle movie.
It's also very.
I'm gonna have to think on that.
It's also very, I guess, hopeful. By the time we get to the end, it's a lot less pessimistic than what I am probably used to on this show.
Name another film where children ride a ski lift into the sunset pissing triumphantly. Literally pissing.
One of one, I think. Yeah.
It'd be weird if there were two.
Yeah.
It would be. Yeah. But I don't know. The thing that I was really struck by with this was that, I knew going into it, it was going to be part of this experimental sort of Czech new wave. I knew it was going to be, art housey in some capacity, regardless of if it was a horror film. I was surprised at how much it deliberately evokes imagery you would be familiar with if you had seen a snowy cabin in the woods horror movie of some kind, or if you had seen, the opening point of view shot looking down at the snow is the Black Christmas killer vision in extreme close-up and really ominous droning and sort of shrieking notes on the score that imply the direction this is going to go in, and then setting up the colorful archetypal cast of teenagers and counselors in 80s snowsuits and knit sweaters,
who are
and
also always mocking each other and insulting each other in this way, where it feels as if some of them are friends, but no one is nice to one another, and it kind of creates this constant friction that I think you see in a lot of those slashers, so that they can set up the kills and kind of those relationship dynamics.
I think you're right, though, Josh. So at multiple times in this film, in many different ways, the film dangles a carrot in front of you, and it's you know, like The Thing, or like, you know, like it tries to tell you what kind of movie it is, and then it's the job of these shit-eating, incredibly bratty teens to be like, no, and like have the human spirit to survive.
It is. It does. Well, yeah, it does turn into a lot of them, like just kind of making a lot of jokes about the situation, even with it being kind of this, like, obviously like a threat. Like we said, there's the food fight. There's moments where, I mean, this is, I guess, before things are super revealed of what's going on with them. But it's like the one, I don't know. He's always smirking. I can't remember his character name, but he's like seems like one of those cooler kids, but he's actually a total asshole, and he's constantly like behind one of the assistants, the woman assistant, and doing like curve gestures and stuff. And
characters were not very good at saying each other's name in this movie, so my descriptions of the movie back to you are going to be very like that one guy with the hair.
Yeah, some of it is hard. I remember Hansa being the blonde guy that has
name. Does that count?
Yeah, absolutely, yes. It does. We need to know the pup's name.
Yeah.
And I remember, so there's Hansa, I think, who plays like the blonde kid who has the conversation with his mother in the car right before he goes on the trip.
Yeah, he's the one who kind of gets center focus because he's the one of the boys who is clearly the most kind of generous. Like when issues come up, he's when they get into that like weird musical chairs test that they have where they only have 10 chairs, but there's 11 people there. It gets kind of like social experimenty. He's the one who offers the girls the seat, and he's like, I'll stand. Or when at a certain point when they take that a step further and they go, well, there's only 10 beds, so we need to murder someone. He's the first one who's like, can I like volunteer to be the murdered child? So
much of this film is just the teens like being presented with like your classic edgelordy like horror battle royale situation, and the teens just collectively doing a jack off motion and being like, no. Like, I don't think so.
Nah, we're gonna go skiing and just chill.
Yeah, like we're gonna have a food fight. Fuck you. Like,
it does seem to start too with like, I mean, heavily with Honda, and then the other, or not Honda, Hansa, and then Alan, I think, is the other kid that gets abused by their dads, like almost in the same sequence. It's like right before they go on the train to the spot.
Is he the kid who steals Hansa's pills, though?
Yeah,
yes,
like throws his pills.
Yeah.
I fucking hated that kid. They should have sacrificed that kid, to be honest.
Yeah, he is a total asshole by the end. But it is interesting to have the very first thing to happen to him is just him being tossed around by his dad and calling him like a useless idiot and whatever else.
Yeah, and then all he is for the rest of the film is a bully, and you're like, interesting.
Yeah.
Look at him go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wonder where he got that from.
Whereas, and I guess it is an important contrast because you have Hansa doing a similar thing. He doesn't get tossed around from his dad in front of everyone, but he does put his hands on him when he's privately talking to him. It's like when he meets up with him at the train station after he has the conversation with his mother because they're trying to avoid each other. So clearly there's not a lot of good blood there, but it's interesting that you have like the kind-hearted character being tossed around as well.
Yeah, well, they introduce you to, you have the girl Gitka, who is the one who arrives late with the dog. Then you have you have the kind of chill, quiet dude who ends up being the more sort of like traditionally heroic character, I guess you could say. Peter, he's the one. Yes. And you have a bunch of smoking jock kids.
There's twins. There's identical twins.
Yes.
Yes, who have like the Velma orange jumpsuits with like the nerd glasses going on.
There's the girl who's like very justice minded, who gets like brought into the circle of the counselors under false pretenses.
Yeah, she's the one who is the only one who prepares with the emergency kit and seems to get along more with the boys. She's kind of the shy girl of the group.
Yeah, and there's like some mean girls.
She doesn't want to be part of the...
Like, all teens are represented. That's part of why this film, regardless of like it being funny and rebellious, is still a horror film, because European teenagers are very scary to me personally. So I'm just like, I live in fear of all of them. I'm like... I'm like, you're all
Yeah, like, I
smoking.
mean-
What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean,
Well, and
they're very mean to each other. Like I said, like a lot of it, as soon as the girl comes up and she's late, they're already mocking her.
Yeah, like
they're
calling her
constantly-
slurs. Like,
Yeah, it's wild, and and again, it's not like this. There are groups, I guess, but it does feel like everyone interacts that way, aside from like Hansa and maybe one or two others. But it feels like everyone is kind of they have their walls up and they're very defensive.
which is so funny because if I understand correctly, like they're all from different schools. Like I think they all got.
Okay.
I think they all received letters in the mail because there's one line where like a more sporty girl is like, I'm from a trade school or something.
Okay. So
I-
they don't know each other necessarily. It's like they're actually all strangers.
Yeah.
I might have missed that actually.
Oh, I mean, wouldn't fault you for it.
yeah, well, because I think that's meant to be part of the social experiment thing, right? Is that I mean, we'll eventually.
It's like, can
I mean,
strangers
we could just
unite
get
as
into
well?
it.
What's
the
the
instructors
name of
are
the-
aliens.
Yeah. Also that. What's the name of the Takashi Miike movie that like Squid Game ripped off? As the Gods Will.
Yeah, there.
It's basically the same premise where it's like you bring in a bunch of different kids from different schools and you make them like it's a little more structured, like it makes them do activities and then aliens are judging to see how good you are. But it's more optimistic than what Vera's doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, then yeah, I guess what normally every version of this. I mean, I saw someone else compare it. One of a friend of the pod, Richard Kane, called it a mix of what feels like a Friday the 13th movie that kind of is maybe supposed to descend into like a Lord of the Flies like kind of movie, but the kids just constantly go, fuck that. Like, we've read Lord of the Flies and we know what those kids got wrong, so we're not doing that shit. Like, and what's funny about that is I'm technically describing to you a movie that keeps, in terms of mood and atmosphere, being like, this is going to be an intriguing, interesting watch if the characters were deciding to be like, we're going to make this more quote unquote dull. We're not going to make the more interesting decisions, which in and of itself is an interesting decision. It is an anti-genre movie in that way. Like, that is what
it would be like
she's
if
deliberately...
in The Thing, instead of like doing a science experiment to figure out who the thing is, they're just like, maybe no one's the thing. And then they just keep about their lives. It's like,
And the
cool,
thing just
who's
gets
like
making
fine?
decisions.
likes everybody. Yeah.
Like the movie is shot, I think, in such an effective way where there is a disorientation and a creep factor and a tension to it, and the use of these really sudden zooms and bizarre editing patterns, and it's so effective. And you sit there the whole movie where the characters are going, the political point of this movie is that they are going to resist and undermine the formula that's being imposed on them. They see this father character and they see his like 20-something assistants, Dingo and Babetta.
Yeah, two normal names.
Yes.
Two normal names for two normal people.
And they go, why are they asking us these unnatural questions? Like, one of the first ones they do is they almost ask this very philosophical, like, what safety do you really have?
It's literally like
and they
if
kinda
the
go,
worst man you knew in undergrad who's studying philosophy, like, was just asking you edgelordy questions all the time. like
While
that's
you're trying to ski.
Yeah, you're
and
trying
just
to
have a
ski
good
and he's
time.
like, what is free will? And you're like,
You're like, I'm about to bomb this hill, okay? Shut up. Look at these neon colors. I'm looking good.
It made the movie consistently surprising because I felt like the style was building me towards a movie that just never comes throughout the entire movie. And even though the kids are, they look at their accommodations and they go, wow, we're at like some sort of prison camp and we're clearly being
we're in
put
some
into
kind of
this
horror
scenario.
film.
Yeah, exactly. And they literally, like, one of the first scenes where they start to kind of figure out the tests they're going to be put under is when they're put into that room that's like lit entirely by interrogation lamps, and they play the bizarre game of musical chairs where there's 10 chairs and there's 11 campers, and they try to get whoever isn't supposed to be there to confess that they are the intruder, because their suggestion is that they only sent out 10 invites, so someone has snuck into this highly exclusive and remote skiing workshop that they need to take a rickety wooden lift to the location of Wolf's Hole, where every person down below goes, why are you guys going
There was
there?
an avalanche, like,
avalanches happen there every week. Yeah.
It's the most dangerous place on earth. Why are you doing this?
It's also called Wolf's Hole. Why are you going?
Yeah. And the pitch that like the instructor makes to them essentially is that like, look, having one extra person here is a risk to everyone. It is extra burden. It is extra responsibility. We didn't bring enough rations for them. And maybe most hilariously, the lift is gonna break. Like, we can't leave this place because the lift is so rickety that having 11 people on it versus 10 is enough. That
Well, it's so funny because
we are all stuck here now.
It's such a convoluted pitch that for like if it's your first time watching it, you're like, oh well, they're just, you know, shitty adults that are like concocting this fake game. Because obviously that's crazy. And then when the movie reveals, no, it is aliens who think this is like really smart, like a good way to see if mankind will actually like destroy itself so that they can take over. And that's so funny to me, of just like aliens being like, if we're gonna find out if humanity is truly like gonna, you know, Rat King eat itself,
the only way.
We have to get 11 Czech teenagers to do a ski resort boot camp.
We've figured out hyperspeed, but we can't really figure out these social
Dingo,
experiments.
it's time to learn Czech.
Oh my god, that is hilarious. It's also like,
and now it's time to fuck the snow.
Those scenes are unbelievable. I will say it's got the mix of like, it is kind of funny to watch, but it is so bizarre, and the way that she frames it is really bizarre as well. Like, there's this one shot, there's two shots that jump out at me when they're doing this. There's one where the camera's actually outside with one of the aliens as he or she is thriving around, and another of the camp people are watching.
So are we just gonna gloss over thriving around?
Oh, yeah.
No, you just have to let Jamie hit those sometimes, where he means a completely different word, but he says a word that actually kind of works.
That's my bad. But and then there's
they were thriving. I don't know what to say. Like, they were thriving when they were fucking the snow, but they were also writhing, which is I think what he meant to say.
Yes, my mistake.
A classic Jamie Malaprop.
I do it at least once a week for sure. But then there's another one where and this one's even more bizarre because it's kind of got a blur effect to it, because the camera is inside the cabin and you're watching them doing it outside, and it's like you can't hear the snow or anything, so you just are watching the alien like go around frantically, and there's no sound to it. So again, there's this like bizarre, just uncanny thing to it that is a little bit weird, and I don't know if it's creepy but by any means, but it is just strange and kind of.
Well, there are moments that like when that one girl finds the employee list and it has 11 names on it, despite the insistence that there's only supposed to be 10, and Father kind of takes her aside and tells her that he's
please, Josh,
simply
Daddy.
playing Daddy. Okay, I will switch to Daddy. Daddy tells her he's simply playing an endurance game and looking for the sort of weakest
He's
link
like, you're
among
so
them,
smart.
and trying to.
You found my list. Like, now you're in on it. I'm definitely not.
That is how Daddy would say that too.
I just love that these aliens immediately fumble it by leaving the list out.
It's ridiculous. It's such a ridiculous movie.
You didn't secure the list.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Well, and the fact that some of their like punishments are like, we're gonna go do snow squats because Dingo catches like some of the boys smoking, and one of the boys sneaks in his lighter that looks like a pistol.
Yeah, it's Chekhov's lighter that's a pistol that comes back later.
Yeah, it's a very important detail, and also the fact that one of them sneaks in a very cute dog is an important detail that made me think like Meg mode. I was like, that's what Meg would do that if she was going to a ski
You're
resort.
like, oh
She would
no,
sneak
my
the
dog's
dog
here.
in.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Oh, we have limited rations. I will be breaking into the kitchen and giving them a comical amount of salami.
Yeah, so many bizarre scenes. What was that when they're peering into the kitchen and they're being like, "Hey, what do you mean we have to like, eat less food because there's too many people here?" And then they go, "I can see that salami over there."
No, these aliens are
and she
so
grabs it. She's like, "No, you
unorganized.
can't."
It's the best. She like pulls the curtain. She's like, "That's for tomorrow, actually."
Yeah. They are not keeping up this ruse against the children.
No, the
that
Czech
they
teenagers are too
know,
strong for them. They underestimated them.
I feel like they stumble
they're
upon
trying
most
to
of these things too. Like if instead of like actively looking for it, which is kind of funny.
They're trying to set up a situation where they go, "Look, we need to eat one of you. One of the children needs to be eaten and killed."
They're trying to
and
make
the kids
movie
just
Ravenous
resist it.
happen, and the kids are like, "No."
Yes.
Like,
We want to ski, okay?
all we want to do is
Yep.
ski and flirt and bully each other.
Ski, flirt, and food fight. That's what we came here to do.
Yeah, they do hit those slopes pretty crazy when they get
Oh my
hit.
god, I love
There's
that
a-
shot where the counselor's like, "Show them how to ski confidently," and then he just skis away.
He just goes. Yeah. And he's like,
like,
"Oh
"No,
god
too
damn." And they all laugh at the instructor. They all point and laugh like, "Dude, he owned you."
There are a couple moments too that are clearly like just natural mistakes while you're skiing. Like there's a part where they're going down and I think mocking somebody, and as they're doing it, one of them that's doing the mocking falls like while they're skiing down the hill and stuff.
There's
it just
also a
feels
lot of-
messy in a good way.
There's a lot of like running in antiquated late 80s plastic ski boots that like that's just
Great.
one of that. So like the Euro teenagers are up here for me on the fear factor. Running in those ski boots like right here, like that would hurt so much. Yeah, no, Alpine Vibes.
I love
really
all
good.
that detail. And I enjoy the oddball, just like skiing camp, like group hangout dynamics, and the kids being cruel to each other and trying to sneak a smoke and talking about who likes who, and like just being the exact kids they're supposed to be, while surrounded by just the strangest aliens wearing Czech people skin, being like, "Who? Do you guys want to kill someone? Do you guys want to?" I don't know. and them just never biting on it the entire
like a kid
time.
will be bullying another kid and be like, "I could kill you," and the counselor will like emerge from the shadows and be like, "Kill."
Let's unpack that. Yeah.
It's like,
Over something so silly. Humanity is
race
so
is doomed.
weird. Yeah.
And the kid's like, "No, that's like a figure of speech, like a metaphor."
Yeah. Like, yeah, I'm just fucking with him. I'm mad.
Yeah.
He's he spit out some food on me or whatever.
And they are trying to
they
just
immediately
specifically have them murder one of the kids, right? Because I think you already mentioned it too with Hansa. He says that he wants to, he might sacrifice himself, and they're like, "No, you have to
they
kill
say there's
somebody."
no human, like no character can stand up and be like, "I'm going to commit suicide for the group."
Yeah.
He says specifically the group has to choose, and the group has to choose to kill someone.
They're basically trying to engineer mob mentality in like a, I don't know, like in an autocratic government kind of way. And the kids are like, "I don't know, man."
Which is so
We've been
funny
living
because
under
there's so many
Soviet rule
stories
our whole
of it just
time.
naturally happening,
Can't
and
force
they're
it.
trying to
Can't
manufacture
force
it.
it.
They're trying to manufacture it so obviously that the kids are just like, "Damn." The kid, to the point where the kids aren't even surprised when they say, "We're aliens." By the way, like we're literally
That
from
makes
outer
sense.
space.
They just like they were.
We're doing some.
One kid's like, "So how do you fuck?" These kids have been living in communist Czech Republic their whole lives. They have no chill. These aliens picked wrong. They like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they
At
were
a
all like, "What's immortality like?"
Yeah.
At a certain point, the one kid I was mentioning earlier that's doing like the curve gestures and stuff, he even tries to kiss the lady alien on while she's sleeping. So like there's like a ton of these just kind of weirder things that are going on that I think even the aliens are kind of shocked by.
Yeah, that
fuck
bit
is up
where
with
the
these kids?
one tries to flirt with her by doing classic like boy like young boy flirting of just like being mean to a girl and like playing a trick on her, and they do that, and she just literally she breaks down and has a psychotic episode in the snow because she doesn't understand what it is they tried to do.
Right? Yeah. It's
Meg's very
I am these
smiling
aliens.
and nodding.
I am these
I've seen
aliens.
this.
when I child
also-
bullies me, I'm like, I only have one choice.
And also, I guess the food fight is an interesting scene because it feels like it's one of the first times they're all collectively having fun with each other, but because they are smiling while they're doing it, but at the same time, it's wasting their last bit of food, so they could be starving. They don't really think about that until afterwards when they see the mess. And I like that their one uniting thing that they have is still a fight. Like, it's still kind of aggressive, and they still are kind of, just throwing shit at each other.
I love that one part when they're like looking through their, I think one of the counselors like trashes the kitchen to like expedite them having less food. And one of the kids is like, oh, we got these beans. And one kid's like, I don't even like beans. Like, I don't eat those.
I'm going to starve.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
do you have anything else?
Yeah, no, honestly, this is what we might even be just like repeating ourselves and going in circles. This is what this whole movie is. This whole movie is them going, the aliens in the corner being like, sooner or later, you're going to give us one of you. And the kids going, can we just go like fuck around in the snow or like throw some food around? At one point, the kids are dancing around a snowman.
Oh yeah, which does, I really did like the horror reveal of the girl in the snowman. When they're like looking for food, and at a last desperate attempt, they take the carrot that looks absolutely disgusting, by the way, and starts eating it. But it reveals that I think it's the
alien girl.
Yeah, and she's like dead in the snowman. It's just a cool little horror effect that you don't see a lot throughout the film, to be honest.
Yeah, because other than that, nobody dies in this movie.
Right.
This is where you're going to have the hardest selling pitch, Meg. It's like a 95-minute horror film, and nobody dies. But there's aliens. and the point is that nobody dies.
Well, no, you don't tell them that part. You feed them the battle royale pitch. You say you give them the aliens pitch, and then you trick them into watching this movie.
You do let them know that the aliens fuck the snow. That's absolutely a sell. So
yeah,
you got to do that.
Yeah.
You got to put that in the trailer.
I've seen this movie a couple times. Still don't know what they're doing out there.
Yeah, honestly, they look like they're kind of
honestly. It has the same energy as Ives digging for his knife. I feel like it's the same vibe. Whatever's going on there.
Yeah, but ultimately that it is the aliens being like, please give us a human sacrifice, and the kids simply refusing to name one throughout the entire movie, despite the fact that they even try to feed some information. They try to explain that like, hey, Peter, one of you, he's a young juvenile gang member who killed someone. So you guys should give us him. And credit to them, they kind of go, no, we're not going to give you him either. We're not going to give you anybody. We're not, we're going to get our way out of this, which I have to say, the actual logistics of this finale blew me away. Yeah. Because it turns into a little bit of, the Thing style. There's a cabin siege. Someone is, someone starts to, burn the actual sort of skiing cabin down. The frozen sort of pale aliens are, kind of chasing after them and getting what appears to be a little bit more possibly violent with them. They're running all throughout the incredible imagery of them running throughout that snowy landscape and like what is like the blue like moonlight and in their ski boots and arriving at the lift. And the moment at the lift was the moment where it did clarify to me the entire movie, where I did go, you could feel it building to this moment. But the fact that they do go and they're basically handed, like, I guess what you would call like the, I don't know, what do they call it? Like the what's the question they ask people when it's like the train's going on this one track and it's going to kill this many people or it's going to kill this many people? Which do you choose? Like, what's the decision you're going to make here, right? And that is what this lift situation they come across is they go, look, too many, 11 people and a dog going down this lift, it's going to break and we're all going to die and we're all going to starve to death out here. So maybe the aliens are right. We have to kill someone and leave someone behind. And they think about doing that. They also think about leaving the dog behind. And I went, I will murder all of you. If I instant 1-star this movie, if they leave the dog behind, I'm just going to let, that was what was going through my mind at the time. And the decision they make in classic Czech art house, critiquing the government, but still having some socialist beliefs, is they go, what if we abandon, similar to Daisy's, I guess you could say, the consumerism. We abandon material things. We take off all of our flamboyant, colorful snowsuits. We take off all of our equipment and we do this. And that's enough. If we sacrifice all of our things, everyone can successfully survive a horror film.
And their bladders.
True. One kid does get up there and have to piss off the side of the lift to be like, that's freedom. That will help out with the weight.
And everyone cheers when he pees. It's the best. Literally everyone clapped.
Hell of a stream, kid.
It is the strangest and most unique ending to any horror film I've ever seen, because it denies you the entertainment factor or the cathartic violence you expect of a horror film, to be like, no, nobody dies. In fact, we all make the decision to abandon material things to find an answer for the collective group and deny you that. We are going to literally just save every single person. And obviously the political messaging of this is incredibly obvious. These kids reject all forms of these authoritarian alien oppressors trying to put them in a dog-eat-dog situation similar to Ravenous. And yeah, they, unlike the Ravenous characters, just go, we're not going to eat each other. We're not going to do anything. Mm-hmm. We're going to piss. We're going to get naked. We're going to laugh. And we're going to just wee our way down the ski lift back down, which we never should have gone up in the first place.
It looks like the most unsafe thing in the entire fucking world. I will say that. That whole platform is crazy.
Going up it, I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah, and then they have a shot. They have a shot before they cut to the last shot, which I actually find really calming and kind of beautiful, where it's the city lights coming out of the fog as they get closer. It's pretty cool. But right before that, there's this shot where you see the silhouette of the platform and all the kids, and they're going down, and they just hit like a hill part, and it hits and gets kind of shaky, and then it starts spinning on their way down. And I don't know if it didn't
like
seem
that
on
video
purpose.
of the person who's getting heli-evac'd, and their thing is just spinning.
Totally. So yeah, I don't think it was on purpose, but there was this kind of sense of danger right before the very calming, foggy city lights shot.
But that's
came
just
up and
normal
ended the
Czech
film,
Republic, Soviet era danger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're just back to the normal danger, not the aliens trying to murder them danger. So yeah, it's a hell of a ride. I also just wanted to say, I really think the font on the credits really cool.
Yeah, it's really neat.
That a lot. So yeah.
And then all the kids laugh and piss, and the aliens freeze and roll around in the snow.
Yes, sir.
The Virgin
They
American
thrive.
colonist and the Chad Czech teenager.
Yep. And I was like, God damn, what is this? I had that
feeling too. I was like, I think I enjoyed myself.
Meg
but what the
strikes
fuck
again.
was
I
that?
did enjoy myself.
Yeah.
I did enjoy myself. I will say that. If we are pivoting towards reductive rating round, this was a very solid 3 for me. And I could even see myself liking it more if I come back around to this movie possibly. But not knowing what it was and the bizarre experience of just having it unfold, even though I went into it being like, look, it is... Meg has pitched it as it's with Ravenous. It must be some sort of snowy horror film of some kind. And it is made by an experimental Czech New Wave art house filmmaker. So neither of those things were surprising to me. It was the exact relationship of those two things that I had never seen before. The surrealism, the disorienting nature of it, the voyeuristic handheld sort of camera work, the very menacing atmosphere and music to it, and what feels like the deliberate bait and switch of, we are in an 80s slasher setup, we are in a Ravenous setup, we are in, these kids are going to Lord of the Flies each other, they're going to dog eat dog, someone's going to kill someone, and to just never ever get to that point seems like something that should be annoy you. It should see it's teasing you, and to deliberately be almost in that way that people don't like about funny games.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of finger wagging you, oh, you want a movie where teens kill each other?
Yes.
Well, that would be fucked up, and so there's part of me that feels like that should annoy me. but the political point and the pure strangeness of it, I do think won out over that. I did like the fact that this doesn't end up indulging in the isolation anxiety in the individual survival heroics of this particular genre is so clearly the point of the film, and it has so much fun denying that to you, of having these ridiculous like body snatcher aliens be so obvious about this like manufactured social experiment they've put these kids in, and every single time the kids just like smoking and laughing and flirting and pissing and doing whatever it is that they do and having food fights and just shitting on them, being like, we will never do any of this bizarre bullshit you're trying to make us do. You have a low opinion of Czech teenagers is essentially what they tell to these aliens. We will not sacrifice one member.
And again, Velvet Revolution led by students around the corner. Like she knew.
Yeah, so it makes sense, and I think it's smart that the setup primes you for a tense and violent genre movie situation, whether it's like they fight amongst each other or at the very least they fight against the aliens and they kill the aliens or something. And the fact that it's all deliberately rejected in favor of the characters finding a collective group support system that clearly was actually found by the students in the country itself, and depicting that through the logistics of this rickety ski lift where they all go, everyone take your clothes off and empty your bladders and someone grab that dog and we're getting out of here. It's so hopeful. It's so strange. It's so kind of poetic in a way, and definitely insanely heavy-handed and definitely artsy and pretentious and all things that I ended up being amused by in a different way than I expected with this movie. So rare teen horror movie where not a single teen horror moment like arises in terms of someone either being murdered or killing someone, but somehow surprisingly thought-provoking and beautiful nonetheless. So I had a good time.
Yeah, I'm also in the 3. It does feel like it keeps being threatening to being dark, and then one of the kids just says something funny and kind of undercuts it, and you move on from there. It's very interesting. It's more bizarre than scary, but it is funnier than I anticipated. But I still think that the tone ended up working for me overall. I didn't find myself like, I don't know, it's hard to wrap my head around the entirety of it, but just with its tone, I think it could have been my own anticipation of what I'm expecting. You know what I mean? It can be just like I was expecting. I did read some reviews and saw that there was like aliens involved, and then when it was kind of like teenagers and all that, I expected something much different than what we got. But that's always fun on the show, so I can't complain about that. And there are still some horror images snuck in there, like the snowman reveal and stuff like that. So I liked it. I do love the rebellion of the kids against not only the aliens, but like you said, Josh, the genre itself. It feels like that's specifically the group that's undercutting the film it's trying to be over and over again. And I will be thinking of the aliens writhing and thriving in the snow for a while. So yeah.
You should recreate it the next time you get a big dump of snow. I want a video.
Yes. I'm going to make that video and send it to you, Meg. For sure. But yeah, so 3 out of 5. I mean, it's a bizarre ride, but it's something so unique. I don't think I've ever really seen anything like it.
Okay. It's like a 3.5 little Czech dogs for me. I don't know. I just
what was the dog's name, by the way? Did you say it?
It's I think it's Prishka, but
she said she knew it too.
I think it's Prishka. I can see the words. I can see the letters. I absolutely adore the idea of a horror element or a sci-fi element, like an alien thinking it's like got it on lock and it's going to do this like really smart, intimidating move. And then the teenagers just being like, no, like I just think that's so, or it's just like, I don't know, man, like we're smoking. I just think that's such an interesting subversion. You're not going to see that outside, like inside America. Like that's a distinctly like European sensibility in my mind. And God help whatever aliens decide to pull this shit in Eastern Europe, I guess. Yeah, no, it's like it even on multiple viewings, I like always find something new and interesting. And I laugh so hard at this movie. I think it's very funny. More people need to see it, and I need more people to dig into the making of it because I have so many questions.
And also available on the Criterion channel.
It's been there
for anyone who wants to
forever.
watch.
Like it's just, I think it's been sitting there since last December, unless I'm mistaken. Wolf's Hole, very funny. I think that should tell you right off the bat what kind of movie it is. So it is for sure a title made by a bunch of Czech teenagers. So.
But yeah, I think that is going to wrap it up there for Wolf's Hole, though. That was, once again, Ravenous from 1999 and Wolf's Hole from 1987. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm just going to keep saying it over and over again. And our snowy cabin fever wrap up to 2025. Thanks so much, Meg, for joining us and for bringing these films on. One, obviously, we've been meaning to get to for a long time, and one we literally hadn't heard of. It's the Meg guarantee.
Listen, I simply must keep heightening at all times.
Yeah. Is there, you got any new writing or projects out or anything people can follow, or should we point people to the Meg Letterboxd?
You can check me out on Letterboxd. I'm going crazy over there. And,
she's giving Chicago a positive rating.
Certified Forgotten soon. So yeah, I'm around, but yeah, reliably on Letterboxd.
There you go. So definitely go follow Meg. It is a good for when you're just like seeing a random movie you've never heard of that is on Tubi given 3 stars and you want to add it to your watch list.
Yes.
That is what Meg is delivering, a valuable service.
That's my favorite kind of movie.
For our listeners, we are going to be back in 1 week's time over on the Patreon with the first episode of 2026, which we always try to make a pretty special episode. So for you folks, we are finally doing an episode dedicated to Brian Bosworth, which has been a long time coming. One of our earliest ever virtual screenings we did on the show that hit like gangbusters and everyone freaked out about was a movie called Stone Cold from the year, I think 1990 or 1991.
So good.
Because it's directed by a veteran stunt action filmmaker from the 80s who was just making one of the most insane biker undercover cop sort of like infiltration movies. Lance Henriksen and William Forsythe play the neo-Nazi bikers, and Brian Bosworth, a college football star turned like C-tier Dolph Lundgren, is the star of the movie. He has gives an incredible performance, and it's a surprisingly really, really good movie. But he also did another movie in 1996 called One Man's Justice, or the alternate title was One Tough Bastard.
Awesome.
And so for whatever reason, there was a college football star they decided to try to turn into like an Arnold action star in the 1990s, and it failed horribly. But I actually think that they are good movies, and we're gonna talk about The Boz, which for anyone who is a football fan, that will mean something too, because he is quite a character in terms of his clothing and his haircut. The guy was an actor while playing the sport before he became an actor. So that's what we're going to be talking about over on the Patreon next week. And then in 2 weeks' time over on the main feed, as always, for the first main feed episode of the year, it is our annual best genre movies of the year list. Jamie and I will be going back and forth counting down all of our favorite genre movies that came out in 2025 for the main feed listeners who aren't maybe subscribed to the Patreon and keeping up with all of our thoughts on the bonus transmissions all year long.
Wicked for Good over and over and over again, right?
Yeah, I was looking at Jamie's and I was like, are you sure? Are you sure, man?
I just love those vocals. Love them.
Jamie just sprinting through his mind palace trying to think of anything related to Wicked.
Yeah,
Vocals.
exactly.
There's vocals in
Yeah.
it.
Vocals. It's known for that. I've known that.
Yep. I was like, Jamie, man, like Fantastic Four Minecraft movie. Materialist was on there. I was like, Zootopia 2, I think, got in there somewhere.
Hey, I bet Zootopia 2 is a 3-star classic. I haven't seen it yet, but
Yeah. He was deciding whether or not like Five Nights at Freddy's 2 like made the cutoff or not. It was pretty
I
close.
remember
Better than
bringing
the
up this
first,
joke. I'm
yeah.
depressed now.
But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing over on the main feed. It's once again probably going to be another 5-hour episode that we're going to try to keep at 4 hours,
Yeah,
but we
we'll
just
try.
somehow never do. We're going to be spending our holidays here ripping through as many of the ones we need to still catch up on that we haven't yet. So
Yep. I've just been going nuts.
that's what you guys can expect. So that being said, that's going to wrap it up for everything this week. Thanks so much for listening, and keep it sleazy.
Keep it sleazy, everybody.